Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.
One watercolor artist you would be. Who are you?
What a great question. Well, I'm a guy that is in love with life. I feel that comes before anything else, and from that is where I find my expression, my sense of creativity.
When did you pick up your first paintbrush?
At 8 years old. It was an oil paintbrush. My parents gave me an oil set when I was 8. They saw something I didn't see, but I was drawing at that time and even taking little lessons at a frame shop in Chicago. And I just couldn't, it's so attractive to me, painting and even oil years ago and drawing and painting now, that I can consume hours and be very much lost in it. So the first thing I do is, most of the time I pencil in the shapes very loosely and be a little bit cognizant of the shapes. Like there's the tree shapes here, and then do a horizon or an edge to the shore, a shore edge. And then sort of the focus of interest, the main interest, is the flatboat that's used, particularly in the South, in Alabama, where I once lived, and get a reflection. As you can see, I'm painting very loosely, or drawing very loosely, because my whole approach to painting is to interpret, not to illustrate. And I'm looking for, even in the edges, the hints of poetry that I am seeking to paint. So that's pretty much good enough.
What do you paint, Don?
I paint colors, shapes, tones, the lights and darks of color, and the edges, the sharp edges, the soft edges. That's what I really paint. On top of that is the veneer called the subject matter. But the essence, the crux of painting is the abstraction, the composition, including the movement, the harmonies and color, all that there is, and more that I still don't know about composing paintings.
And what about watercolor?
And watercolor in particular is what I discovered back when I graduated. I took my undergraduate degree years ago, and I discovered these 2 red ash cans. I went out and bought some colors, watercolors, because they spoke to me like you gotta blend color. And in oil paint, you can't blend easily. You can, but you gotta mix on the palette. But with watercolor, that medium, you can blend, and you can be, I've fallen in love with both the planning and the serendipity of watercolor. You have to plan a little bit, but you have to for me at least, you have to have an acceptance of all the accidents that show up in painting. I'm not, as you can see from my work, I'm not one who illustrates. I interpret things, you know. And I do it over and over again until I get it. And once I get it, I'm done with the idea. With that done, I'll get a fairly good sized brush. These are all ox hair brushes. And mix up some colors like opera and some new gamboge. And so I blend a little bit on the palette, but most of my painting and blending occur while they occur on the paper itself. The colors are all more or less, even though they're combined, are more or less the same lightness or darkness, or another way to say it is tone. Sometimes I use paper to blot out where I want a little bit of lightness to show through. It's sort of like a game of chess, in that you got to sort of be a few moves ahead of yourself in your mind in order to get a sense of what's going to happen down the line.
What about Michigan? What do you paint that has a Michigan tie?
The Michigan tie for a long time was the Kalamazoo street scene. And I have a reputation in town for...
Is that a good reputation?
Yeah, it's a
okay,
good reputation. It's a pretty good reputation,
right, yeah.
as far as I know. Most of the people on the street are, they look like they're doing pretty well. But that was the beginning. But I don't paint, I do street scenes from time to time, but I'm more interested in the, I don't know, an imagery that more reflects where my life is these days. Being older and having a sense of mortality, I think that just is part of, it's what's showing up for me more now. I'm just sort of in search of imagery that expresses whatever it is that is so intimate and personal about being alive. Now I'm going to make a little noise with a hairdryer to enhance the speed of drying. If I didn't, it would take too long. It wouldn't take too long, but it'll take a while. So you can see already that right there, right here, I've blended a kind of a warm red with some yellowish green and some orange over here. And that's one of the major qualities about watercolor painting as a medium, because you can do so many things. You can also, I can do things like drop water in, just serendipity, to give a little bit more sense of looseness. I'm not after looseness so much, but sometimes these little things will, these little droplets will do give it a sense of unpredictability. I'm going to turn the sound up a little bit on this. See there, those blossoms? That's a very unique quality with watercolor.
And what's left for you to paint yet?
Oh my goodness. What? I don't know. I don't know.
Self-portrait, maybe?
Well, I have some friends in town who I would like to interpret and find out more about what my relationship is with those people by painting them. And will I get to it? I don't know. I have more stuff in my head that I want to do than I have time for. I think the painting is done. I could do more. I could goof around more, but just one point is that I'm not being very literal. I'm being very suggestive. You know, I could have put more branches on. I could have done more things, but you'll see here it looks like the beach is a little bit here. I could have done more detail, but pretty much the accidents, the blossoms as we call them in watercolor, right there, the blending and the blurring and of shapes, they kind of give a more subjective attraction to the place for the viewer. But by and large, I think this painting is done. I'll do one more little hint right there. And there you go.